That's kind of hot.
There is a new compact sedan hitting the market, one that, at least on the design front, is leagues ahead of pretty much everything else in this segment. It's hard to believe that this car right here is basically the next generation Kia Forte. But forget what you know about that car, because the new 2025 Kia K4 is packed with more style, tech, and value than any Forte or Spectra before it.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a hard time finding an angle of this car that I don't like. Now, it does look like a liftback, but it is in fact a traditional sedan, and it actually comes standard with a smart trunk. So if you have, let's say, a baby in one arm, groceries in the other, and your key fob in the pocket, this trunk will automatically open on its own to reveal 14.6 cubic feet of space. It's not quite as much as the old Forte, but it is still near the top of the class. In regards to the old Forte, when that car debuted, a lot of the automotive press ran with the term baby stinger to describe its looks. I never quite saw the resemblance myself, but I think the script is now flipped. If Kia were to revive the Stinger nameplate, I'd actually want it to look like a larger rear-wheel drive K4. And at launch, the K4 will only be available as a sedan, but if you wait until later next year, they are actually coming back with a hatchback variant, which we haven't seen here in the US market since the 2018 Forte 5. Now, I know the one design element that a lot of people have issues with is this C-pillar element right here. It is different. This upright line is a little bit unique. It does make this car look a little chunky in the haunches, but it does give you this nice extra piece of glass, which does give you a lot better visibility out of the sides of the car. Case in point, if I look over my right or left shoulders, it actually feels like I'm driving something more like a mid-size sedan just because of that extra glass. So that's a big plus. But we're out here in Austin, Texas, driving the GT Line Turbo K4 with the technology package, which means we also get Kia's excellent blind view camera system, which shows you in the instrument cluster what is in your blind spots. So if you have chronic neck problems and you don't want to be turning back there to look at your blind spots, this model has you covered.
The GT Line Turbo is powered by a carryover but slightly updated 1.6-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, making 190 horsepower and 195 pound-feet of torque, paired with a responsive 8-speed torque converter automatic transmission. Don't worry, Hyundai Group's somewhat hit-or-miss 8-speed wet dual-clutch automatic is not available here. That horsepower figure has dropped a bit since last year, but now that this engine only comes in GT Line flavor, it has us thinking maybe, just maybe, a GT version will return in the future with an even more powerful engine. If you don't select the GT Line Turbo trim, LX, LXS, EX, and GT Line trims come with a 2-liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder making 147 horsepower and 132 pound-feet of torque through a chain-driven CVT, what Kia calls their IVT, I standing for intelligent. All K4s are front-wheel drive only though, leaving the Toyota Corolla Hybrid as the only compact affordable sedan in America with optional all-wheel drive.
And speaking of hybrids, no, there is no hybrid variant offered of the K4 at launch. It is kind of weird how some Hyundai models get hybrids and some Kias do not. For example, Hyundai sedans, the Elantra and the Sonata, do offer hybrids, but the K5 and the K4 do not. Go figure. But if you want the best fuel economy in a K4, you're going to want to go for the base 2-liter 4-cylinder, which I have not driven yet, but my lovely colleague here, Matt Deegan, has. Matt?
I was pleasantly surprised at the 2.0-liter engine in the base K4. I drove an EX model earlier this year, and I tell you, on paper, that 147 horsepower doesn't look like a lot, but it felt like more. And combined with, a CVT transmission, or what Kia calls an IVT, you think, oh, that's going to be a bad combination. It wasn't. I'm telling you, their in-house CVT is really good. So I was pleasantly surprised at even the base powertrain on this vehicle. I mean, that's going to be the better seller, and I think it's going to be a great powertrain for the majority of buyers.
Yeah, and I was hoping there would be a drastic difference between that engine and this one now that I've gotten a little bit of time behind the wheel of the 4-cylinder naturally aspirated one. Yeah, this definitely has more punch and it sounds a little bit less gritty under throttle, but like Matt said, you're really not really wanting for more power in that car. It's really adequate, it's really usable around town. Certainly pretty par for the class, I would say.
When you go for the GT Line trim, whether it's the turbo or not, you do get acoustic front glass and a multi-link rear suspension, which makes this car the one to get if you value a more dynamic driving experience. It really helps refine the ride quality and makes railroad tracks and rough pavement much more approachable at speed. According to Matt, you can definitely tell that this one is quieter than the lower trims too, but I won't say it's super quiet. There's definitely a good bit of road noise and wind noise coming from the side mirrors. Models with the 18-inch wheels do get acoustic tires though, so again, the GT lines are going to be a little bit quieter than the non-GT line trims. The acceleration from the turbocharged engine is definitely more brisk than the naturally aspirated engine. The shifts from the 8-speed are crisp, but they're not exactly dual clutch speed, but they are responsive. The car downshifts right when you need it to, and it doesn't hold gears when it shouldn't. Brake feel is very linear and par for the course, so nothing really to point out here. Steering feel is a little rubber bandy, so on center is very solid, but once you turn to the right or the left, it kind of feels like the wheel wants to naturally pull its way back to center. But overall, the weight of the steering is pretty heavy compared to some other models out there, but there's not much feel coming from the road.
Inside is where the K4 truly impresses, especially on this top-of-the-line GT Line Turbo. This adopts their latest interior design theme, first seen on the EV9, which means up front on this trim we do have 3 displays on this huge swath of glass. 12.3-inch instrument cluster, a 5-inch display for your automatic climate control, and a 12.3-inch touchscreen with wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Now, this display right here, you might be wondering, is it sort of out of the view of the driver because of the steering wheel? Well, yeah, for me at my height at 5'9", it kind of is, but 3 things to remember. You're probably not going to adjust it much while you're driving. You'll probably set the temperature you want and hit auto as soon as you get in the car and never touch it again. 2, there are actually some physical redundant controls down here. If you get a model without this touchscreen, all of those controls become buttons down here. 3, this infotainment system known as CCNC, Connected Car Navigation Control, something along those lines. It's their latest infotainment system, and on these upper 2 trims, it is powered by AI. So, hey Kia, where is the closest thrift store? And there you have it. If you're looking to go thrifting, this will find it for you. And actually, though this is not a Google built-in system, it does have Google point of interest search built in. So you can search for things and the results will come directly from Google, but it doesn't have like Google Assistant built in or Google Maps built in. So if you're looking for that, you'll have to go to a different brand. But overall, this system is very nice. It's a very nice layout, very snappy response. And the sound system, the Harden Kardon premium sound system in this one is pretty punchy. I'm pretty impressed with it.
Front seat comfort is pretty good for me at 5'9". The seats are appropriately bolstered for a car that has sporty looks, but not exactly the most sporty driving intentions. The cooled seats are optional on both GT line trims, but heated front seats are only standard on these 2 trims. You unfortunately cannot get them anywhere else in the lineup. Same goes for the sunroof. On the standard GT line trim, the premium package adds synthetic leather seating, cooled seats, driver's side 2-person memory settings, a Harman Kardon premium audio system that sounds pretty darn good to my ears, but I will say I didn't spend too much time tuning into it, and the sound-absorbing windshield glass. The GT Line Turbo's technology package adds multicolor ambient mood lighting, the 360-degree surround view monitor, the blind spot view monitor, the cooled front seats, driver memory seat, and digital key 2.0.
Though I don't necessarily have a problem with the way this looks, the hidden door handle here makes it a little awkward opening this rear door because of how far this pokes out. So if you're on this side, you might get hit by it right in a very sensitive area. So I wish that was designed slightly differently. Once you get back here though, I mean, this is one of the most spacious rear seats I've been in a compact sedan, very comparable to its sister, the Hyundai Elantra. 38 inches of legroom that's near the top of the class, if not right up there. Got a decent amount of headroom, though this is a standard sized moonroof. It doesn't really cut into headroom that bad, so that's nice. There's also a center armrest with cup holders right here. One other thing to note is that only on GT Line Turbo models do you get rear air vents, but you do get the standard 4 total USB-C charge ports, including these ones back here on all models. And there is one map pocket back here, but it is the cargo net style. Some people aren't a fan of that. I don't particularly mind. And this has standard rear side curtain airbags. Not an anomaly in this segment, but some luxury cars in this size category do charge you extra for something like that, so keep that in mind if you are a safety-minded consumer.
How safe is the K4? You'll feel pretty confident knowing that all models come standard with the features seen on your screen, while their most advanced forward collision avoidance assist system, highway drive assist 2, blind spot collision avoidance assist, park distance warning for the front, rear, and sides, as well as reverse autonomous braking are all optional add-ons on the GT Line Turbo trim.
There's a lot to like about Kia's new Corolla and Civic Fighter, but there are certainly a few things that I would add. A hybrid powertrain and all-wheel drive would certainly widen its appeal, and there are a few features that are exclusive to this GT line turbo model that I wish they would offer on something like the EX trim, which goes in a less sporty direction with optional green seats on the inside. That's a pretty unique touch. But overall, when it comes to pricing, this still stays very competitive and offers features that no one else in this segment does. For $32,135 fully loaded, there aren't really many cars out there that I would pick over the new K4.